Hello everyone, today we will be discussing a very important play by Oscar Wilde, which is The Importance of Being Earnest. So when we look upon the play, we need to note that the play was first performed in 1895. And when we examine the play, we can see that the play is mostly connected with the moral principles of the Victorian time period. As you can see, the play was written in 1895, which was towards the end of the Victorian time period. So most of the time, the characters in the play show many kinds of false moralities that were maintained during the Victorian period. For example, when we take upon the things related with marriage, love, etc., they took it very casually for some wealth gain. Institution of marriage was actually made fun of in the play, The Importance of Being Earnest, because during the Victorian period, they maintained this kind of attitude towards these institutions such as marriage, etc. So regarding the importance of being earnest, we will discuss in detail, and we will be discussing the summary, the major characters, and also the important themes in the play, The Importance of Being Earnest. So when we look upon the play, The Importance of Being Earnest, we can note that it is actually a farcical comedy. So it actually, in a satirical manner, it makes fun of the Victorian society. So we can see the characters like Jack Algernon, Lady Bracknell, etc., who are actually acting as some kind of model to the real life Victorian people during that time period. So at the beginning of the play, The Importance of Being Earnest, there is a person called Jack Worthing. So in a place named Hertfordshire, he is an important landowner and also justice of peace, and he also have a ward named Cecily whom he looks after. So we can see that the person Jack Worthing, he appears like a gentleman who take care of people, who have an important position in the society. Even if that is the case, he is not that much interested in those kind of things. He don't like to be this much moral, and he don't like to maintain a genuine moral setup actually. So because of this reason, we can see that in the play, he takes a dual personality. So as an excuse, he will use the name Ernest. He talks to the people or convinces the people he have a friend named Ernest at the other side of the city, in the name of taking care of him, because he is a very morally indecent person. So just by making an excuse that this Ernest is not a morally good person, he will say the members that I need to go back for a few days to look after him, and in the name of that, and by saying that, he will go and he will enjoy himself in the city. And actually there is no one like Ernest. He is just making up a name or making up a person. Really, he don't have a brother like Ernest. So he is actually using that name Ernest as an excuse to escape to the countryside and enjoy himself in an ungentlemanly manner. So that is the situation of the Victorian period. They will outside, at one face they will behave like they are very morally decent people, and on the other side, if people are not noticing, they will take part in these illegal activities. That was the Hippocratic mindset of the Victorian period that Oscar Wilde is trying to depict through his play, The Importance of Being Earnest. So we will be you should first know the major characters who all are there. We can see the character Jack Worthing, who also have a fictitious personality like Ernest, and also his friend Algernon is there, his ward Cecily is there, then Lady Bracknell is there, who is actually the aunt of Gwendolen. Gwendolen is actually in love with Jack Worthing. So Jack Worthing and Gwendolen, we can see in the play, Gwendolen is actually attracted to Jack Worthing only because Jack Worthing convinces Gwendolen to believe that his name is Ernest actually. So just that's a very trivial reason for Gwendolen to get attracted to Jack Worthing, just because of his name. So when we see the name Ernest, we can see that Ernest means some person who is very sincere, dedicated. It's a very positive term. Jack Worthing tells her or pretends to be having the name Ernest. Just because of that, Gwendolen gets attracted to him. So that also is actually a kind of reflection of the Victorian society. Women and men, they maintained a false morality. They don't look upon the people, or they don't see the institution of marriage seriously, but pretends that they are very serious in these things. That kind of false Hippocratic morality we can see in the Victorian time period. So as I was speaking regarding the play, we can find the protagonist Jack Worthing. He also have a ward called Cecily Cardew. She is 18 years old, pretty woman, and this Jack Worthing also have a friend named Algernon, and Algernon know about his fictitious personality, that Jack Worthing is the same person as who is acting like Ernest. And we can see that this Jack Worthing is also in love with Gwendolen Fairfax. And we also talked about Lady Bracknell, who is actually the aunt of Gwendolen Fairfax. So there are 3 acts in total in the play, and each act we will discuss one by one in brief manner. And you should note that the idea regarding this video lecture is to get a clear picture or a brief overall picture regarding the play, the summary and also the themes in the play. So we will discuss that now. So when we come across the act 1 of the play, we can see that Algernon and Jack Worthing are actually together and they discuss something with each other. So Jack Worthing talks about his ward Cecily Cardew, who is 18-year-old girl, and also he talks to Algernon that he is actually thinking of dropping the plan of acting like he have a brother named Ernest. So Algernon and Jack know all these things. Means Algernon also know that he is actually in actual there is no one like Ernest. Jack is actually pretending that he have a brother. So they are good friends. So they are talking about this. He also talks about his affair with Gwendolen Fairfax. So actually how it was that Gwendolen is actually attracted to him, and also Jack is also attracted to Gwendolen. But later Jack comes to know that Gwendolen is actually attracted to Jack Worthing because he tells her that his name is Ernest. So actually Gwendolen thinks that the name Ernest is actually a reflection of absolute confidence. So Jack Worthing is actually little bit upset because of that. So when Gwendolen once come to know that his name is not actually Jack Worthing, he will be in trouble or the relationship can break up. There is a possibility. So because of this reason, Jack Worthing also thinks of changing his name to Ernest. So really he is trying to rechristen his name to Ernest. We can see it later. So in Act 1 we can see these things, the affair between Gwendolen and Jack Worthing, and after that the aunt of Gwendolen Fairfax interviews Jack Worthing just to understand about him and also understand his eligibility, whether he is eligible for the family to get married. But after that she will come to know that Jack Worthing is actually an orphan. That means he don't have parents. He was actually found out in Victoria railway station in a cloakroom inside a bag. So after knowing this, Gwendolen Fairfax did not agree for the marriage because of the pride. She don't like to get married Gwendolen Fairfax to Jack Worthing, who is an orphan. That way the Act 1 is actually ending. So while coming across the Act 2 of this play, we can see many funny incidents also. So actually the starting of the act is in a country estate, whether actually the friend of Jack Worthing, who is Algernon, he will pretend like his fictitious brother Ernest and he will come to the country estate. That means Algernon will come to the country estate of Jack Worthing pretending that he is actually the brother of Ernest. So meanwhile this Jack Worthing thinks of killing Ernest. That means he is actually thinking of saying the people that Ernest actually died. But this Algernon pretending like Ernest made the situation more confusing. For Jack Worthing, there are more chances for to get exposed if Algernon act like Ernest. So that way he will be there in the country estate, Algernon, and we can see that in between this Cecily Cardew, who is actually the ward of Jack Worthing, he falls in love with Algernon. So we can see that Cecily thinking that Algernon is Ernest. So he actually pretends like the Ernest, that is the brother of Jack Worthing. So that way it is. So Cecily also thinks that the name of Algernon is really Ernest. So we can see Gwendolen Fairfax also is attracted to Jack Worthing, thinking that his name is Ernest, and meanwhile this Cecily Cardew is also attracted to Algernon, thinking that his name is really Ernest. So here we can see it's actually the term Ernest is used as a comic kind of word. So really the question of really a person is earnest or sincere or dedicated doesn't matter in a Victorian society. So just moral pretensions are only there in a Victorian society. That is what is Oscar Wilde trying to show through this play, the importance of being earnest. That way we need to understand the play. So we can note that this Cecily is also attracted to Algernon, and they also start a relationship. And meanwhile, Algernon also come to know that Cecily is actually attracted because his name is actually, he tells her that his name is Ernest. So Algernon also is in trouble little bit, and Jack Worthing also in trouble because their name need to be changed really to Ernest. So what they think is that both of them will think of changing their name, that means rechristening their name to Ernest. For that they will find a priest called Dr. Chasuble. He is actually a Christian priest. Actually in Christianity, in that religion, it is able to change one's name using this priest. They can change the name. So that way they will decide to change their names to Ernest, but they will go in search of this Chasuble. But meanwhile, what happens is that in this country estate, this Gwendolen Fairfax will have a surprise visit. So that time there was only Cecily Cardew in the estate, and they both will meet. Cecily will act as a host to the estate, and Gwendolen and Cecily will have a talk between each other. So during this time the trouble happens, or the funny scenes happens, because they come to know that both of them are in love with a person called Ernest. So actually the Ernest, Gwendolen Fairfax is in love is actually Jack Worthing, and the other Ernest is actually Algernon, whom Cecily Cardew is in love. So but they both doesn't understand it properly. So they both think that they are both are actually in love with the same person called Ernest. This actually result in some kind of confusion and also problem. So that kind of situation it arises, and after some time this Algernon and Jack Worthing will come back to the estate. So that time they happen to see this confusion. So finally they have to, at the end of Act 2, they have to admit that this drama of being Ernest was actually fake, and actually in reality both of their names are not Ernest. So they have to forcefully reveal that. So that will create a little bit confusion, because the ladies are actually attracted to them because their name is Ernest. So that way the Act 2 of the play ends. So when we look the Act 3 of the play, we can see that it takes place in the manor house, drawing room. So in that place, Cecily and Gwendolen are actually sitting confused, and these two people, Jack Worthing and Algernon, trying to convince both of them. So we can see that when both of these people, Jack Worthing and Algernon, say that they will really change their or rechristen their name to Ernest, that time these two ladies, they are convinced. So they just need a person called Ernest. So they are not even looking if the person is really sincere, dedicated, etc. Actually, Oscar Wilde is actually making fun of the Victorian morality, even the women and also the men, by saying that they are not actually looking for the kind of real morality. Everything is fake during that time period. That kind of message he is trying to indirectly give through these characters, we can say. So in that manner, both the ladies are convinced that they will be able to marry them. But still there is a problem with Jack Worthing, because the aunt of this Gwendolen Fairfax, who is Lady Bracknell, she is not still agreeing with the marriage, because all of them think that Jack Worthing is actually an orphan having no parents, because he is actually found in a bag in cloakroom of Victoria Station. So that kind of confusion still arises. So we need to note that Algernon is also somewhat related to Lady Bracknell. So Lady Bracknell will agree the marriage between Algernon and Cecily Cardew. So that way it is. So Jack Worthing, to counter his situation, he will say that he will not allow Cecily Cardew to marry to Algernon if Lady Bracknell did not agree the marriage between Gwendolen Fairfax and Jack Worthing. So in that case, he have the power, because Jack Worthing is actually the warden of Cecily Cardew. That means Cecily Cardew is ward of Jack Worthing. So in that case, he have the power. So that way situation is actually more confusing. And meanwhile, this Dr. Chasuble, who is actually the priest of the church, he will arrive to rechristian both Jack Worthing and Algernon to Ernest. So that time we can see a governess named Miss Prism happen to come there. So we can see that this Miss Prism is actually an old governess of this family of this Lady Bracknell. During that time, a situation arises. She actually, when she was in railway station, accidentally she will put the baby of the sister of Lady Bracknell into a bag in the cloakroom and accidentally leave the place, and she will lost the baby. So that is actually Jack Worthing. So we can see that the play will result in a twist. So Jack Worthing will really become a family member of Lady Bracknell. That means Lady Bracknell's sister's son is this Jack Worthing. So when Jack Worthing was young, the governess, who is Miss Prism, accidentally, when Lady Bracknell's sister gave Miss Prism the baby to look after. Governess Miss Prism accidentally put this baby inside the bag. So Lady Bracknell's sister, when she gave Miss Prism the baby to look after, that governess, she accidentally leave the baby in Victoria station and leaves. So accidentally it happened, and she doesn't even come after that because of the guilt of this. So now only Miss Prism is coming and revealing this baby. So Jack Worthing have the bag even with him because the person who look after him actually gave him the bag, that he is actually found out from this bag, and when this Jack Worthing show Miss Prism the bag, she will identify it, and thereby they confirm that this is Jack Worthing. It's actually a family member of Lady Bracknell and those people. So that way, hence it is actually proved that Jack Worthing is not an orphan anymore, and everyone will agree with the marriage, and between Algernon and Cecily also marriage happens, and between Gwendolen Fairfax and also Jack Worthing the marriage happens. That way the play will end in a very happy manner. So the plot line of the play is not that much important. Actually the characters, how they behaves or what all things are happening, so the attitude they prevails, all those things actually reflect the Victorian morality during that time period. That is how Oscar Wilde depicts the play, The Importance of Being Earnest. So it was written in 1895, and when we read the play, we should note that these things reflect the morality of the Victorian time period. So that is about the summary of the play. Now we will discuss the major themes regarding this play. So when we talk about the themes, we can see that the constraints of marriage is an important theme in the play. That means marriage is actually seen not as a serious institution during that time. They will pretend like it is a very serious institution, but we can see that this constraints of marriage is actually more like a mechanical kind of thing. In name of wealth or in name of some kind of social status, people had this marriage kind of relationships. So that is actually an important theme in the play, the importance of being earnest. So when we talk about the next theme in the play, the constraints of morality, we can see as an important theme in the play, the importance of being earnest, because we can see that during the Victorian time period, people are actually forced to suppress their personality or their feelings, etc. So they are actually supposed to have a gentlemanly, gentlewoman kind of behavior, and because of this reason, they pretended that, many of them pretended that they are really gentlemen, they have a very strong moral principles, but on the other side, or during when people are not noticing them, they take part in illegal activities, having drugs, having kind of pleasures regarding sexual, etc. So all those things are actually a part of Victorian society. So dual personality they adopted. That is actually the same thing we can see in the character Jack Worthing also. He is actually a gentleman kind of person as a worthy or actually an important landowner, and after that we can see he's also justice of peace, very important position it is. And but he's actually in the he don't like to be part of this gentlemanly society, and because of this reason he will create a fictitious personality called Ernest, and in the name of him, using him as an excuse, he will go to the other side of the city and take part in these kind of pleasures with ungentlemanly behavior. These kind of things plays an important part in the play, the importance of being earnest. So next theme when we talk about is the hypocrisy and inventiveness in the play. So we can see that Lady Bracknell, she is actually more like a Hippocratic character, and also the ladies we can see Gwendolen Fairfax and Cecily Cardew, they love the person because their name is just Ernest. They will think that their name is Ernest. So they won't look at the genuineness of the people, how they are they actually earnest, they are sincere or dedicated, or actually we can see Gwendolen Fairfax just thinks that the name itself gives them confidence. That's why he is actually loving a person called Ernest. That kind of Hippocratic behavior we can see in the Victorian period, and this play also reflect those kinds of elements. And most importantly, when we talk about this play, the title itself is actually a major theme, the importance of being earnest. So it's more like used as a pun also we can say, because how important is to become an earnest, that means a sincere dedicated person, that is one meaning. And inside the play we can see that the name Ernest is actually playing a great importance, or actually a great relevance in the life of Jack Worthing and Algernon, and also the ladies are more attracted to the name Ernest. So that way also we can see the importance of being earnest, and also in real way also we can see importance being important, earnest is very important, that kind of way also we can see. So both ways the theme, the importance of being earnest, plays an important role in this play by Oscar Wilde. So that's about this major things in the play. We had discussed the major characters, the summary, some background details, and also the themes of the play. So I hope that you understood many of the things. So in comment section also you can ask me the doubts regarding this play, and also you can request me to make some other videos related to this English literature. So until we meet next time, goodbye and happy learning.